Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles. My name is Danny De Lillo. I'm so delighted to be here with Melanie with her amazing movie, Ikaw. But for those that haven't seen it, let's take a look at a clip.
Ayoko.
Bakit? Kailan nga huling uwi mo?
Noong 2007 pa, para sa burol. Kasi naalala ko na familiar pa rin lahat, pero at the same time, iba na rin. Binenta na namin yung bahay. Nandito na pamilya ko. May sariling buhay na yung mga kaibigan ko. Sinong pupuntahan ko?
Ang drama mo. Hello. Anong tawag mo sa akin? Sabihan mo lang ako, susunod kita sa airport.
Melanie, I'm so happy we can do this in person. This is special. I loved your film. I just was left wanting more. But for those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis of your film.
So, Ikaw is a story about two friends who haven't seen each other in 20 years, and they spend one evening together thinking about the memories that they had 20 years ago in Manila, Philippines. And through those conversations, they start to unfold emotions that they thought that they buried deep inside them.
It's so incredible to watch. Like you can just tell from their performances and the story that there's a deep connection there, and they've known each other for many years, and that kind of weird feeling of when you've not seen each other for so long as well, and how life has moved on. But where did the inspiration come for you in creating this into a film?
So the two actors, Kristen and Angela, we've been working together on films for about 3 or 4 years now, and we've always wanted to do a Los Angeles love story. And the film was inspired by one dinner we had before, where we were just talking and having wine and thinking about all the people that we've been with and the romances that we had and what we would say to them if we would cross paths with them again. So the conversation is somewhat autobiographical, but it's little bits of the three of us within the conversation between the two characters. So that was the main inspiration. It was really my actors, because that evening we shared, I think it was a new step in our friendship when we started opening up about the heartbreak and the regrets that we had. Sometimes it was our fault, sometimes it was the other person's fault. And yeah, it was just, also I feel that this is a feeling that a lot of people can relate to. We all have people that we wish we could say certain things to, but we never know if we'll encounter them again. And we do rehearse these things over and over in our head. Like, if I could just see that person again, this is what I'll say. Whether it's a relative you haven't spoken to in a long time, it doesn't have to be romantic, or maybe a friend that you broke up with, or just an apology that you owe someone, and you never know when you'll get that chance again.
I love that it all started over dinner together, and then I was just mesmerized by your actors. Like, I was just in it with them in this story, and it was so incredible to see how their lives moved in different directions. And I kind of love the questions that was posed, where like, oh, would you move back home? But life is different now. You've had a long time from being away from where you grew up. You just kind of feel part of it, but you're also at a different place in your life. I love the kind of conversations that we're engaging. Tell us a little bit about your process as a director and writer, and like how you worked with your cast, because I just thought the relationship was so clear and really great to watch.
Kristen and Angela have been friends for a very long time, so I can't really take credit for the chemistry that they had, because it was real, but in real life, there's no romance between them. They're just really good friends. So in terms of chemistry, between the two of them, there was already something, and then I just gave a little bit of direction to give it that ounce of romance. And we rehearsed twice, a week before the shoot, and then a couple of hours before the shoot. So it was all, because it's a very dialogue-heavy film, it was just different verbal cues with them, and we were just playing around. And I think the rehearsal was worth it, because the performances that they gave me were very, very good. And in terms of writing, I did a draft, and based on the conversation that we talked about that one dinner, and after that I gave it to them and saw put yourself in the shoes of this character, and is this what they would say, or would they say something else? So it was really a collaborative process from writing to the actual performance.
I love that there was this, like, you know, the back shot of Los Angeles, you know, and I really felt like the way that you shot it was just, it kind of showed that dreamy, romantic feeling of LA that we don't often kind of see that much in the background. But I was so transfixed on their story, but it was lovely to see that. Did you kind of have a certain style in how you wanted to shoot it?
Yeah, so I took a lot of inspiration from photography. I took a lot of inspiration from photography Instagram accounts that I follow. And it was, I've always loved the aesthetic of one spotlight or backlit halo looking, very contrasty neon lights. I've always liked that aesthetic. So we chose, my producer, Romel, said we should shoot in Alhambra because they have this amazing neon light backdrop, especially at the Edwards area. It's really nice there. And we definitely had more liberty with where we could shoot since we were more familiar with the area. Romel and I are from, I live in Monterey Park and he lives in Alhambra, so we knew certain areas that would be good. But in terms of aesthetic, it was very deliberate, and I wanted to capture LA as I saw it, because I think another film that romanticized LA really well was 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah.
But I think they took an angle of, we wanted to feel like New York, but set in LA. But for the film that we made, I wanted it to be LA.
Yeah. Well, that'll please our treasurer of the board of New Filmmakers LA, because he produced that movie. So there you go.
Oh.
There you go, Steve. But no, I think the wonderful thing as well is that, you know, again, this was a story about two people and their lives kind of move forward. But I feel like you're going to have everyone calling up that one person that they have disconnected with, like, you know, because it really has got like a universal feel where we've all kind of been through a circumstance where we just, you know, life has, you know, gone in different directions. Was that kind of like something you were thinking about, like the fact that a lot of people could maybe not be entertained by it, just entertained by it, but can relate to it too?
Definitely. Another reason why I wanted to tell the story is because I'm obsessed with the drama of an ill-timed romance. I think there's nothing more tragic than two people who are, I would say, meant to be together. At least they genuinely love each other, but due to external forces, it just can't happen. So apart from people being able to relate to not being able to relate to wanting to meet that person that they want to say a specific thing to, I just love like a Romeo and Juliet type romance that cannot be type of thing. Yeah, I wanted it to happen though. I was like, please let it happen. I think the wonderful thing is that obviously I was noticing from a production perspective, I was like, oh, you've got interiors, you've got exteriors, like sometimes that's challenging in a place like Los Angeles to kind of do that. What was kind of the biggest challenges that you kind of faced production-wise? Ooh, the biggest challenge was sound. Sound was difficult because when you're shooting outside, and I guess this is like a plea to anyone who's watching this, but when you see filmmakers working outside, please don't say, hello, turn the camera this way. We've had, that happened to us a bunch of times because most of our shoot was outside. People would come in front of the camera, or when we have a wide shot, they just start waving and making noise, because if they weren't making noise, we could easily crop them out. But once they start making noise, interrupting the actors and you know, messing with the sound, that's when it gets difficult. And we were a skeletal crew. It was just me, the actors, my DP, my sound D, and my producer. So there were 6 of us, and we didn't have the manpower to do crowd control. Another issue that we had was with the camera, because we wanted to use natural lights, you know, the lights that LA would give us. Sometimes our camera, it needs a little help. But because we didn't have, I didn't have the foresight to bring additional, you know, battery LED lights. Sometimes it would, some shots would be a little too dark. But I think that it adds a lot in the end, in terms of the mood. So sometimes things that you feel went wrong are actually helping the film out.
No, most definitely. What has the experience been like sharing this at film festivals, and like what's the reaction been like for you?
So far, people have been having positive reactions to it. I think that the big challenge was that it is very dialogue heavy and it's in a different language, so it demands your attention. It's not something you can treat like a podcast, especially if you don't, most especially if you don't speak the language. But I've been getting a lot of reactions similar to you, where I want to call up that person that I broke up with, or we have things that are left unsaid. And everybody always compliments my two actors. So I'm very proud of them.
No, listen, it's great. It's in a different language. I think that's one of the great things now. We're starting to see so many films in different languages in this country finally, and so let people learn. So that was really fantastic. Well, listen, the only thing I didn't like about it was it ended, because I wanted more. I'm like, do they go back to Manila? Like, is there more to this story, or if not, what is next for you?
For me, oh man. Well, right now I'm working as a contract editor because I graduated from school last year, so I owe some loans. I still have to pay a few things. But in terms of what's next, I would really like to do a feature in the Philippines at some point. And it'll be set in the theater world, because that's kind of where I started out when I was back in Manila. And I want to be able to do a feature about the folk dance community there too. But we'll see where things go, but that's the long-term goal at the moment.
That's fantastic. And for you personally, and I mean, obviously you just graduated, so many exciting things coming ahead and a whole career ahead of you, and it's amazing you've made this film already such a great standard and so much more to come. Is there kind of anything you've learned on your journey, or anything you could share as a filmmaker that you could share with our filmmaking audience?
Ooh, I feel like I don't possess that kind of wisdom just
yet.
Yes,
you do. Oh, yes, you do.
I think what I learned is that when you have an itch to make something, but there are external factors that you feel are hindering you, there's always a way around them. In terms of this film in particular, I was worried about filming outside and what that would mean in terms of our safety or permits, but my producer was the one who convinced me, we can do this, it'll be fine. And luckily he's had experience. So I guess for other filmmakers who are starting out like me, if it's something you're afraid of doing, it usually means that it's because you're heading the right direction, or that you're asking the right questions. And I guess the additional thing I would say is, you can't do it by yourself either. You would need people around you who have experience with this and who will keep you calm when you're not feeling that confident, or when you're feeling a little anxious. So that's basically it. It's hard to be fearless, but I think it's an endeavor worth taking. But the best way to go about it is to have people around you who will encourage you and have the experience to back you up, or maybe even knock you back into reality when you get a little too over your head about stuff, and they're the ones who pull you back down and say, relax, this is a short film and this is the budget that we have. Don't go, it's nice to shoot for the moon, but you also have to keep your feet on the ground as well.
Well, that was brilliant advice. That was like, you've been doing this for 30 years. My goodness, that was great. No, that was wonderful. Thank you. Listen, thank you so much for this film. Like, I just, it's always a wonderful thing when you're left wanting more from what you created for us. So thank you so much. And we can't wait to see more of your movies, and best wishes of making the feature, and keep making more movies for us, please, Melanie.
Thank you.